Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bahn. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. Did you happen to catch last week's episode with Angel Marie Monticelli? She's an 11-time best-selling author and energy conductor. You won't want to miss it. You know, one of the things that I get to have conversations with my clients and as I facilitate networking is, what does a win look like in your business? And what are the words that you're using to celebrate that win? But also, how do you embrace the suck when things aren't going your way? Whether you are a budding entrepreneur or a seasoned veteran, I want you to take a moment before you listen or watch today and really feel the impact of what those words are that you're saying to yourself. What's it feel like? I believe that there needs to be a balance in embracing the suck along the journey, but also celebrating the wins even if they're small. And I want you to think about that today as I welcome our renowned psychotherapist and motivational speaker, and soon to be relaunching a new book, Miss Nancy Harkins. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Veronica. It's so wonderful to be here. It's always wonderful to be in your presence.
Well, thank you so much, Nancy. I loved how we started today talking about allowing the words to come in from our higher source, from divine, from God, just letting each of these episodes unfold in their most beautiful magnetic space. I just think it's magical.
Oh, I do too. I do too when we allow the divine to speak through us.
You know, one of the things that I loved learning about you when we first met is this new book you're launching. But I also went onto your website and took a little peek and Googled you because I know that you are a renowned psychotherapist, but also you were on the speaker circuit for a while. And I would love to share, because this is a journey of entrepreneurship. These stories really pull out some of those best juicy nuggets, but also share the hard times, because it's so important for the other entrepreneurs that are listening to this to know that they're not alone on their journey, no matter what part of the path they're on. They could be at the equanimity of success or just starting out looking up going, how am I ever going to get to that peak? And you have so eloquently written this new idea around the power of words, but in a very unique way. We will talk about that later, so stay tuned. But also, your journey that got you here is quite impressive. Can you share that with the audience?
Oh, I would be happy to, because it is truly a journey. I believe that life is a journey, not a destination. And it actually, began many years ago when I was born. But the journey to getting to where I am today began as I found myself sitting in a seminar conference room in a hotel at an assertiveness training seminar.
Okay.
And that training seminar was so exciting to me. And it gave me a new leash on life. When I went to my boss, I was working in a small refinery in Southeast Texas. And when I went to him and I showed him the flyer and I said, I want to go to this seminar. And he said, oh, that's all I need is for you to be more assertive. And I said, no, I think what I am is aggressive, and I want to learn how to be assertive.
So power of words, it started back
power
then.
Of my
you
words.
didn't even know
Absolutely. You're right. I did not. I did not know it. So I found myself sitting in this seminar room, and I was so excited. I was on edge. It was a 2-day seminar, and the night between, I could hardly sleep. And the next morning, or the evening, after the seminar was over, I walked up to the trainer and the speaker, and I said, I want to be a speaker like you are. How would I go about it? And she said, well, first, you need a degree. Do you have a bachelor's degree? And I said, no, I have 3 college credits. And she said, oh, well, you also need to be available to travel. Are you available to travel? And I said, no. Because at the time, I had 2 small children. And I knew that I was on the threshold of a divorce, especially after that assertiveness seminar.
That's hysterical. I'm sorry, divorce isn't hysterical. But what you said just then.
No. And you know, he was a wonderful man, but our world, we were just on 2 totally different trajectories. And so anyway, I put my dream on the back burner in my mind, but I never allowed it to, my passion for that dream to burn out. And about 10 years later, during that 10 years, anytime somebody would say, Nancy, what do you really want to do? What do you really want to be? I'd say, I want to be a speaker, but I can't because I don't have a degree. And people would say, oh, that's too bad. Or, well, you know, move on to something else. But I wouldn't let it go. And so about 10 years later, I was sitting in my living room and processing with a dear friend of mine. And he was trying to help me figure out where I wanted to go next. Because at the time, I was between career opportunities, which really means I'd just been fired. Anyway.
But I like that so much better. Again, the power of words.
My words, exactly.
And you still didn't know. I think there's something going on here.
Yes. So he said, I said, I can't because I don't have a degree. And he said, so when are you, well, first of all, I said, I really want to be a speaker and a trainer. And he said, so when are you going to give that up? And I said, give up my dream? And he said, no, give up your excuse. When are you going to go get your degree so you can live your dream?
And he was the first one to tell you, no, you need to check all these boxes off first. He said, you don't have to do that.
No.
Isn't that amazing when you start
powerful.
to hold on to that dream that you really love and you start speaking it into existence? The right people will show up on your path to give you what you're looking for. I mean, that's powerful.
Well, the very next day, I went down to Paradise Valley Community College and I registered for one class.
And
my
that
first
was?
class. That was English 101.
Okay.
In which I learned that I have the ability to be a writer. I put that dream on the back burner too. But it only took me 8 years to get a 4-year degree because I was raising two children.
Babies.
And, well, they were in college by the same time. By the time I was in college, they were both in college towards the end. Anyway, I had my degree, and I had the experience of depression because I had used that excuse for all these years, and now I had my degree. So now what was I going to do? For 18 years I used that excuse, but now I had it. And so what was I going to do? Well, it took me a while to work my way out of that depression. And then I decided, okay, it's time to launch my career. So I created a video. I created a video in my living room, a demo video, and I sent it to an international seminar company.
You did not.
I did. I did.
Wow. Okay. And this was how many years ago?
This was in 1999.
Okay. 20 years ago?
So in January of 2000, I launched my speaking career. And I
From
traveled.
a video
From
that
a
you
video.
took where we didn't really have the cell phones back then.
No.
So you used a regular
A
video
VHS recorder. I used and sent them a VHS tape of me speaking.
And did you get it back in the mail, or did they call you?
Oh, no. They sent me an email and said, we would like to, email was fairly new for me back then, and said, we would like for you to come to Kansas City for an interview, an in-person interview.
Wow. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this for a minute. How many of you are sitting on a dream? How many of you have been told you need 3 or 4 different things in place before that dream can actually come to fruition? So as you're listening to this, think about what Nancy was able to do. Yes, it took her 18 years to move into the recognition of her dream, but she didn't give up on it.
Nope.
She didn't give up on it. So let's continue.
So that journey with the International Seminar Company took me to all over the United States. I've spoken in 42 of the 50 states. I've spoken in Hawaii and Alaska many times. I know they're part of the 50 states. And Canada, all over Canada, and Australia, and New Zealand. And as a result of that speaking, I even went to Europe. Not to do a speaking engagement, but to meet somebody who was very significant in my life in helping me get where I went.
Wow.
And
there's some powerful
it was
energy
powerful.
around that. Good for you. So really quick, though, as you spoke at all of these different places,
Right.
these different... Did your topic change? Did your audience change? Did you stick with one through line? Was there always a message?
There was always a message. I taught leadership development, team building, assertiveness training, but I incorporated assertiveness training and communication skills into everything I taught.
Okay.
Because you cannot be an effective leader or a team builder or a part of a team without having effective communication. And so, yes, that was my constant. I taught effective communication in every seminar I did. And I also did some of my own private seminars. After I had gotten really good at being a professional public speaker with the company, then I started doing some of my own seminars. And then I was having dinner with a very dear friend, and we both agreed that one day we wanted to go back to school and get our graduate degree. And we don't remember which one said it, but one of us said, "What do you want to get your degree in?" And the other one said, "Oh, I want to be a psychotherapist." And I said, "I do too."
No.
And so within 2 months, we were sitting in our first class.
Together, you had a friend doing this with you.
I did, and it was fantastic. 2 years, and I met some wonderful people that are still close friends of mine.
You know, they call those masterminds now.
Yes.
And accountability partners.
Yes. Well, we were accountability partners in getting through our master's programs,
bet.
too. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, so then I set my speaking and so forth aside and became a psychotherapist and have been doing therapy for close to 20 years now, a little over 20 years, actually.
Oh, my gosh, Nancy. That's a journey.
And I have a private practice. I'm semi-retired.
Okay.
And so I decided that it was time.
And you're still working with clients.
I am.
But you get to choose the ones you're working with now. How
Yes.
beautiful to be in that
Yes.
space.
Yes,
where
it is
you
wonderful.
get to be in the power of the yes.
Exactly.
And not the bank account or the bill that's due at the end of the month, which
Right.
many entrepreneurs, as they're starting,
Right.
they say yes to a lot of clients, even if they're not a good fit, because they're so worried that, well, I got to pay the bills. And there's something really magical in when you get to be very discerning on who you want to work with.
Absolutely. And it's also important for the client that we are both, that they know that I'm a good fit and I know that they're a good fit. And so when a client calls, I usually do a brief interview with them on the phone
Okay.
to determine what their needs are and whether I think that I have the tools and the interventions and so forth to meet their needs.
Okay.
And so yeah, and of course I teach communication skills in my private practice. I teach. I work with couples and I work with individuals on a variety of different issues. I also work with people who have trauma and people who are either in recovery or want to be in recovery from drugs and alcohol.
So along your journey, for those that are listening, they're entrepreneurs, they're sitting in the same space, they've had those girlfriend conversations, and yet they haven't taken action. What would you share with them?
I would say to never give up on your dream, first of all. And I would also say that it is important to do your own internal work. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is with affirmations. Two of the most powerful words in the English language are I am. Because I am is actually another name for God. It is said that when God went up on the mountain and he encountered the burning bush, which was God speaking to him, he said to the bush, "Whom shall I say sent me?" And God said, "I am that I am." Which means every time we use the words I am, we are invoking the name of God. So that's partly where the power of our words come from. When we say, I am wonderful, I am happy, I am fantastic, we are saying God is too. However, if we say, I am stupid, I am dumb, I'm such an idiot,
I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy, I can't do that. God is capable of anything. The power and the presence of the divine that operates through us is capable of anything, including living your dream, including becoming an international motivational speaker.
Or a TV host.
Or a TV host, absolutely. Yes, yes. And I'm sure that it's through the power of your words, your thoughts, your intentions that you're where you are today.
I believe that. And I had a conversation with my brother before he died last year, and it was so much about creating a platform for women to share their voice and believe in themselves, and then let that ripple effect be a legacy effect. And everything that I've done with clients as a facilitator with eWomen Network, with my consulting company, with the books that I've been in, with this show, is truly about empowering other women that are sitting there, whether they're bold startups or those seven-figure earners, who just feel like they want to be part of a community and a conversation that lights them up again from the inside and reminds them who they are.
Exactly.
And I love, Nancy, that you shared that I am, because those two little words can get lost in conversation.
Yes. And so practicing, though, affirmations. So, for example, I would say when I remember walking across the campus of the community college that I was going to, and I was only maybe one semester in, and I kept saying, I am a therapist, I am a therapist, I am a public speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, and I am a therapist. And those were the words that I kept using to reaffirm, and I had those posted on my mirror and every place so that I saw them.
So let's talk about that for a minute, because there is a school of thought that I've read and I've heard that says if you're telling yourself one thing in your mind and yet you're not experiencing it yet, that self-sabotage starts to kick in, because the brain is in the non-belief, even though the heart is in the belief. So if you're telling yourself, I am a motivational speaker, or I drive this car, and I don't like to tie success to things.
No.
But, we've all heard personal development speakers talk about create your vision board, cut out the magazine, put the picture. And for me, it used to drive me crazy, because I was the kind that if I folded it up and I put it in my pocket, that was good enough for me. I didn't need it out for me to see, for anybody else to see. I didn't need the sticky note on the mirror. I knew where I wanted to go, and I could affirm that very quickly. But the conversations I've read, what do you say to those? Or do you have a way to look at that where you're saying it, but your brain doesn't believe it because it's not true yet?
So that's an excellent question, Veronica, and I appreciate it. Speaking in the present tense, but speaking in the present tense, because, there are many wonderful teachers, such as Eckhart Tolle and Gary Zukav and many others, who say there is only the present moment. So when you speak it in the present moment, it is as if it has already occurred.
Oh, wow.
And when we're using, another one of my favorite authors is Dr. Ernest Holmes, who says, change your thinking and you can change your life. And I am living proof of that, because I had to change my thinking from I can't because I don't have a degree, to I am a motivational speaker, I am a public speaker, I am a trainer, I am a seminar leader. The other thing is that the brain does not register negative words such as, if I were a smoker, let's say, and I wanted to stop smoking, instead of saying, I don't want to smoke, because all the brain hears is,
I want to smoke.
Right. It leaves out the don't. So it's very important to be conscious of not using negative words, so to speak, in our conversations and in our affirmations. It's saying things such as, I am smoke-free.
Oh,
I am
wow.
alcohol free.
Okay.
I weigh 120
dot,
pounds. I am, whatever it is that we want, speaking it in the present tense and using the I am. Yes, using the I am.
Okay, so I have a story around that because I learned this when I was raising young children.
Right.
And how many times would a child spill milk when you would put the milk in front of them, say, don't spill your milk, and then 2 seconds later you turn around to do something, you come back around and the milk is spilled.
Right.
And I started telling my family and the grandparents and whoever was watching the kids, say, here's your milk, or be careful with your milk. Don't say, stop.
Right.
Don't spill your milk. Your brain only hears spill the milk. And then the child gets in trouble and they didn't mean to, and the parent is saying, or grandparent, I just told you to not do that. So I have been in this space for a very long time, and it is so true. Another circumstance, my boys played baseball, and there's this one particular father who would always say, don't strike out, or don't hit that pitch, or don't. And we were friends, and I walked over to him and I said, if I may, I would like to change your language on what you're yelling at your son. And he looked at me, and my husband's like, oh gosh, what is she going to say? And I said, every time you say don't do something, he is going to watch. Try changing your words. And I gave him another way to say, don't strike out, or don't hit that pitch. So I gave him 2 new sentences. And to this day, our kids, his son went on to play D1 college baseball.
Wow.
And to this day, he will say back to me when I run into him, I will never forget the day you came up to us when my son was a junior and you gave me some. I had never been told that. And this gentleman had a very successful, lucrative career. And I felt very empowered in that moment.
Well, that is the power of your words. That was the power of his words, and I absolutely agree with you. I'll tell you another word that I encourage people to leave out of their language.
Yes.
Is the word why. Because why triggers defensiveness. And if you ever see, even in small children, if you ever see a parent say to the child, why did you spill that milk? The child doesn't know why they did it. It was an accident. They spilled the milk because milk was what was in the glass. but to say that, and if you see a little child, they're like a deer in the headlights. They can't answer that question. Why?
And neither can adults.
And so they get defensive.
Yes, they do.
So a better phrase would be to use, help me understand.
Or seek first to better understand.
Yes.
I love this.
Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Stephen Covey. Yes, absolutely. And so that takes me to my book.
Yes, let's take a look at that. Look at this beautiful cover. Now, the thing that's exciting about this, everybody, is this is coming out October 17th, which is also your birthday.
Yes.
And I love the green. It says, Your Words Have Power. Yes, They Do, by Nancy Harkins, launching October 17th. So we're going to put in the show notes how you can support her in having a successful international bestseller. But tell us why this book, why right now?
Well, we are in some very changing times, as you know. And so I think that it is important as we move through this changing times that we speak about what we want in our lives, how we want our lives to look, rather than worrying about what's going to be the future, how are things going to be, but instead declaring what we want our lives to be. And it also is so powerful I counsel a lot of couples, and as I mentioned, I teach communication skills with the couples, and so it's very powerful in that regard as well. But so there's affirmations in there, there's teaching how to write affirmations.
So it's not just a book, it's like a workbook. You can work through it.
Absolutely.
So does every chapter give you an idea and one build on the next?
Yes, every chapter, excuse me, it does build on the next. And at the end of the book are exercises that you can use to begin to create your own words, your own statements, your own affirmations, and begin to practice. Like if you're going to have a conversation, I was going to have a conversation with a friend the other day that I was feeling some agitation. And that was my feeling. I own it. It was my agitation. And I wanted to open conversation with them because my perception was they were feeling some agitation too. So I used some of the examples that are in this book on how to sit down and say, I'd like to have a conversation. Could we just have an open conversation?
Not by text.
Not by text.
By phone call or in person.
Absolutely. Oh, text is the worst thing for communication because you don't hear the volume, the pitch, the tone, the
inflections.
Exactly.
Ditto.
And that's part of assertiveness. Assertiveness is to say what you mean what you say, and don't be mean when you say it.
And seek first to better understand.
Yes. And that don't be mean when you say it is where most of us get tripped up.
You know, I heard something the other day that said you can have a meaningful conversation without being mean.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Isn't that
good? I may incorporate that. You can have a meaningful conversation without being mean. Absolutely. And it does include the volume, the pitch, the tone, the inflection, and the word you choose. So, and the position you take.
Do you give examples in the book on how, through the chapters of ways that people can communicate with each other? Instead of this, try this, maybe?
I absolutely do. I
love that.
Like, for example, instead of saying but, when we say a sentence or write a sentence, and then we follow it with but, we have negated what we said first.
And I think the word just is overused.
I agree.
Especially women say that a lot. And they also start sentences with sorry instead of I apologize.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. That is one of the big parts in my book. Because that's another two very powerful words. I apologize. Instead of I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We say I'm sorry so much that we begin to feel pretty demeaned.
Yeah. I love that you're switching that up. And so you guys are you have to go back and listen to this episode because there's so many actionable tips in the way that you communicate. But more importantly, Nancy, how can people find you? And besides our show notes, will you have it on your website with the link when this book's getting ready to launch?
Actually, there is a website for that.
Really?
For the book. It's yourwordshavepower.com.
Yourwordshavepower.com. Your words. Havepower.com.
Right. You can go directly to that website and you can actually get a free gift that will give you some tips on conscious listening, on how to listen more consciously.
So it's not just the power of words you say,
right,
but on the conscious listening of how you're receiving them back.
Actually, do you know what the number one best tool for conscious communication is?
Share.
Listening.
Well, God did give us 2 ears and one mouth
mouth.
for a reason.
Exactly. I say that quite often. Right. Listening with an open mind and an open heart. And I'll tell you a tool for effective listening.
Okay.
Or active listening. And I learned this several years ago.
Okay.
That and I use this in my private practice too. If I am listening to somebody and I want to interject, I want to say something, I have learned to put my finger over my mouth very lightly because I have to think to move my finger before I start speaking. And when my son was, about 10 or 12 years old, he and I were having a conversation, and I kept interrupting him, and he said, "Mother, put your finger over your mouth." He did it kind and loving, but it was a good reminder. Yes.
They do pay attention, don't
Absolutely.
they? Well, this has been a beautiful conversation, Nancy. Can you guys hear all the nuggets that have been given to you today? I can't wait. Tell me the one you're going to go implement right now. Drop it in the comments and share with the audience so we can participate in that conversation. ask Nancy questions. I know that she would answer them for you. And I also am so excited to help participate in your international best-selling author launch on
Thank you.
October 17th and your birthday. So lots of things to celebrate. And we already shared with the audience how they can connect with you. Let's just give them one call to action. YourWordsHavePower.com, right?
Right.
YourWordsHavePower.com.
It's that simple.
Well, Nancy, please continue to go out and impact the world. I know that you can answer this question that I ask my guests at the end of our show. If you could give yourself a permission slip, your younger self, your current self, or your future self, what would that be for?
It would be trust in yourself and trust in the divine as it operates through you. Listen to that wee small voice that speaks to you and follow its direction. Perhaps if I had done that 20 years earlier, I would have been a motivational speaker sooner. And it's all a journey. It's a process and a journey. It is not a destination. And it's never too late. When I hear someone say to me, oh, I can't go to school. I'm 40, I'm 50, I'm 60. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I was in my 50s when I returned to school to get my degree, my graduate degree. And look where I am today. And I intend to keep doing it for many years.
I love that. You know, my daughter said to me recently, Mom, 50, it's not too late.
No.
And I just love that. And she said, what an inspiration you are to other women who to step out into something very scary. And I just love that. So thank you, Nancy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Veronica. It has been such a pleasure talking with you.
We appreciate you being on the show. So take a look at The Power of Words, or Your Words Have Power.
Your words.
Your words have power. And incorporate that into your business curriculum. Put it on your nightstand when it comes in as a hardback or a paperback. And stay tuned for next week's episode, where we have a guest that will continue to blow your mind, give you amazing pro tips and actionable items on how you can be so visible you can't be ignored. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.